Hi, I'm Demi.
And I'm Andrea.
Welcome to Pretty Wrong. Another guest on the books. We have Jessica with us today, who is a wonderful client of mine and my favorite therapist to talk to
That's not your therapist.
offline.
That's not your therapist.
You're not my therapist, but I wish you could be my therapist because you have the kind of you have the energy that I feel like I could need.
Mm-hmm.
But we talk a lot about relationships with other people, friends, and relationships with yourself. So we wanted to bring someone on because our experience is that as many people that are now in therapy, everyone also thinks they're a therapist because everyone has the internet and Instagram. We have Instagram therapists and ChatGPT. And are you experiencing this in your treatment?
In my practice?
In your practice, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I get in fights, not fights, but I did tell a patient he needed to stop yelling at me the other day. But we get into debates about the information that they're getting, what therapy actually looks like versus what Instagram is actually telling you. I had one patient come in and say, I want you to be exactly like this therapist.
What do you mean?
Like she knew a therapist on Instagram.
Okay.
Or she saw one on Instagram and she's like, that's like the energy, the feel that I want. And on Instagram, they're giving you sound bites of ideas, conceptualizations, how to look at problems. And it's great. But when you're doing your work, it's not an Instagram sound bite.
Right.
And so she didn't end up sticking because that's what we want to be lectured at sometimes and change to happen.
And are the people on Instagram giving advice actually therapists? They're not, right?
There are a lot of therapists that do reels about different, about attachment, about different treatments, different skills. And so all of that I love all of that because it's making things accessible that aren't normally accessible. But there's always a balance on the other side of what therapy actually looks like versus what you're getting fed. So,
do you feel like, and I put, this is in your seat, not even in mine, but I feel like when I first started going to therapy, I expected every session to be this revelation.
Oh yeah.
And then I was I'm putting too much pressure. She's also uncovering information about me. It's not just going to be this wealth of knowledge and these eye-opening moments every time.
Well, and a good therapist sets the tone for all of that. I will tell my people we've got to get into it. We've got to talk about what's happening. We got to figure out what direction we're taking, what we're actually treating, what we're not. But people come in and they're like, okay, why didn't I leave with my life changed in 45 minutes? And it's just not where things are at and what works. And I don't know. There's a lot of people with a lot of high ambition.
I had a client another therapist who told me that the cadence that she only takes on clients that are once a week because she feels anything outside of that is just recording. It's just her gathering information. There's no work that's getting done.
I totally agree with that for a different reason.
Okay.
So I don't want my patients to be dependent on me. I don't want I always say my goal is to make my job not necessary.
Okay.
So I don't want you seeing other therapists. I don't want you seeing ChatGPT. I don't want you, or I want to know when ChatGPT is happening because I want you to go live your life and be internalizing things and working through things because if it's just me, there's a dependency that becomes really unhealthy for people. So
I could feel, do you ever feel you're slipping into that?
Which part? Yes.
You're all encompassing. Yes.
No, I don't. Yes. I mean, I'll text my therapist and be if something comes up, I'll be can you talk today? And she'll be either yes or no. And sometimes it helps me with whatever I'm experiencing, but mostly it's just once a week.
But I think what you're talking about, so in the therapy I do, we do coaching. So, and there you have up to 2 10 to 15 minute calls a week. And you call and it's about skills generalization. I've been in therapy. I know that what we talk about doesn't always generalize. I can talk a really good game, come up with a really good plan, but then you do life and you get into these situations.
Right.
So that makes a lot of sense. Sitting for 45 minutes, talking through everything ad nauseum, I do think it's it's just data collection. And there's another part where it's now you're just ruminating out loud, which is actually making your problems worse.
Right. I can intellectualize and talk about something for hours.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. And then we're building a story.
Right.
That's a lot of therapy is actually getting you out of your story of everything. So, I mean, there's so much.
My therapist had a big issue with me because I was having trouble connecting my feelings to my body, where she'd be like, how did that make you feel? And then I would explain it. And she'd be like, so you just intellectualized what it could be like to feel it beautifully, but you actually are not like being present with the emotion. And so we do a lot of somatic overlap for that reason, because she was like, you're so disconnected and dysregulated from your body that you have to choose to like take 30 seconds and breathe through it even.
Totally. Well, and I think with that, like a lot of the work I do is actually like emotional exposure work. People are just afraid of their emotions. Like they don't want to have them. They don't want to feel them. They don't want to listen to them. They actually have really good information.
Aquarius.
Say it again.
And then what ends up happening is you are just running all the time. And this information that's there, you're not utilizing. And then you're going to therapy and saying, tell me what to do, where you already have the answer. So a lot of it is like, how do we get you connected with your emotions, connected with how that actually feels for you? Nor I ask my patients like, how are you feeling? I had a shit ton of thoughts. Like it's all, this is what I think. This is how I understand it. This is what's going on with it. And it's very rarely like, this is how I feel about it. It's not the emotion. And it's the story. And so then like, and I think that is where it's like what we were originally talking about of like Instagram and all of that, that just feeds all of that.
And then your algorithm just grows.
And grows.
It's like when I'm looking for an answer and the tarot card readers start coming up.
Oh,
And then I'm like 15 deep into this like woman in her, mom's basement, like reading my future. And it's telling me exactly
and I'll buy it. Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Of course he's thinking about me.
what is my partner going to look like? Like that's a trap.
Yet. I haven't gotten there yet, but like definitely into the like a dark male is, very upset about what he, the decision he made. And there's always, and then the third party starts coming in and I'm like, well, there wasn't a third party.
You're like, damn it. But think about how much time you lose investing in this,
Totally.
like feeding your own narrative.
And that's an algorithm that's meant to make money. The Instagram, TikTok, all of it. Like, and it gets me. Like, it knows me. It knows.
Yeah.
It knows what I want to buy. I think yesterday when I was at the
You're
salon.
talking about the fire blankets.
Oh, I bought those, but
What are
I've
the
also
fire blankets?
they're like these protective things. They're really good to have in your house. I've convinced myself I have 4. But then I bought nail pens yesterday.
To just draw on your nails?
Just to draw on your. They're done every like 2 weeks. Like they're not. I'm not.
Yeah.
But the algorithm is feeding you what it thinks that you want, and so it's more about what's gonna flag and what's gonna be really reinforcing to you, not what you actually need.
Right.
And that's the discrepancy. So I think I had a patient that was going through a divorce, and she was coming in telling me, ChatGPT and I had a conversation, and I downloaded all of my text messages with my ex into ChatGPT and then had them diagnose I asked her, I was like, how many hours did you spend with ChatGPT this week? And it was 55.
Okay, so
No, really?
I swear to God, 55 hours. And
what was the diagnosis?
Andrew's like, that sounds great. What else?
I actually have a safety thing on my phone, which I didn't mean to set up, but I had 2 phones. I bought a new phone, and on my old phone I had ChatGPT Plus, so I had unlimited messaging.
Amazing.
And then on my new phone, I downloaded the app and didn't sign in, but somehow the account's still linked. So I can't get ChatGPT Plus on my new phone. Because when I go to download it, it's like you've already subscribed. So it
this
cuts
wasn't
me
like
off.
a barrier for you. It
It cuts me off after like 4 or 5. It's like, sorry, I can't
universe
respond
intervened.
for like 4 hours. So it's actually been really nice for me because I can't go into that spiral. Like I have to wait a few hours if I want to go back.
Well, and so here, there's really good. I don't want to. There's both sides of everything. I've got patients who are spending 55 hours and they're ruminating. It's just keeping them stuck. It's just keeping them disconnected from their emotions, trying to look for an answer that's going to be self-validating, where they just actually needs to go out and live their life and have other relationships. And then I have patients who will like send the nastiest text messages and they're like, I'm just going to run this through ChatGPT. They get like a 1-sentence response. They send that and it like blocks all sorts of hell from
interesting.
happening in there.
Okay.
So
Like,
ChatGPT minimizes like the kind of visceral reaction that could come from that, and it still gets the message across, but
It's like,
more direct.
this is what I want to say. what do you think about that?
Yeah.
It's like, don't send that. And then it's like, what should I say instead? And then they send that. And it's actually
See,
like,
I feel like mine's always like, would you like a flirty, fun version of that? Or would you like a warm, soft?
Yours is like Sex in the City wired, where it's like, what persona would you like to come through?
Great job, Andrea.
well, you worked your
Andrea,
algorithm.
I really-
It's like, I know exactly how to make you happy.
Yeah, it does. I told we were talking about something this weekend, and I was running it through chat, and I said to Demi, I was like, "It's my robot says no. It says no."
And she follows the robot's advice clearly.
Sometimes, but then I like do my own thing, and then I'm like, I have new information, and it's like it just says whatever you want to hear, basically.
I don't, yeah, I think
Maybe I'm
sometimes.
just right.
I've
And
never
Yeah.
used it. So after she told me about her boyfriend, her ChatGPT boyfriend saying no, or robot boy,
robot boyfriend. Yeah.
when I just like started putting in random stuff, and I was like, this is actually really fascinating. I could see how you could lose time on this, but the answers still don't feel like a person.
I think there are some that do.
They remove the emotion. To me, it felt very like more observant than anything else.
Yeah.
Yeah, some of them do.
I haven't
Yeah.
used it. I haven't also used
Yeah.
it enough to know, but
Mhm.
I mean, and I really like my job. I really like my career. And like, I am also reading articles about
It
people
replaces-
being really suicidal as a result of using
Right.
ChatGPT.
Yeah,
so
there was
like
that big thing.
so there's
Yeah.
just like, it's an unknown that like, I don't want to
Mhm.
screw with. And I mean,
You're just like, the
is-
robots are scary.
yeah, the robots are scary. I don't want to feed them my brain to like,
The robots are scary, but what I think is even scarier is like the person that should be in therapy that's armed with the therapy buzzwords because they're on TikTok,
oh yeah.
Yeah, that is terrible.
where everyone's a narcissist, everyone's gaslighting you, every relationship you're in, you're love bombed. Like it makes me feel like we don't even know how to really interact with one another anymore.
Well, and I think it's people are using these buzzwords and it's talking about such a broad spectrum of behavior, of problems. Like I had a patient ask me yesterday, I said, like, I think you're a little in your own narcissism. And she's like, can you define that? What does that mean? And I said, I gave it like a huge caveat before I said it. I said, like, you're not a narcissist.
Right.
This is an
Right.
actual diagnosis. But what I was saying is like, you think you're too influential here, but people are making it seem like every parent is a narcissist. Everything is a narcissist. And so that's the danger too, is that like these diagnoses like have such defined criteria and people are just saying like, I don't like how people are treating me.
Therefore,
I
they're a
don't-
narcissist.
yeah.
Have you ever worked with someone that you thought was a narcissist? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So
Do you tell them?
yeah, I don't shy away. I work with borderline personality disorder,
Okay.
like primarily.
Okay.
And so there's a lot of crossover sometimes between BPD and narcissism. BPD is actually really treatable. Narcissism is harder. And so like a straight up like narcissistic diagnosis and presentation is probably something that I would refer out, but like teasing a lot of that just because I'm not good at treating it. But I think there's a lot out there. And I think
Do
too,
you think someone who's a narcissist even wants to be diagnosed?
that's what makes it really hard.
I was going to say, so then you even bringing that to the table would immediately cause like huge alert.
Or
red
they've
flag.
gotten told like, you're a narcissist, go get it treated. And like now there's a desire and a pull for me to co-sign certain behaviors, certain thoughts, certain presentations. Like that's been my experience. I think that's where it doesn't map onto the treatment that I do also well. But I think there are people that do it well. I don't think there's as many narcissists as people are talking about on TikTok.
That's where I'm like, not every person who's ever wronged you is
a
classified as a narcissist.
And people who are just taking care of and have their own limits are asserting themselves, like they're also not narcissists. Like just because you're prioritizing your own needs doesn't mean you're a narcissist, I think. And there's like the overdiagnosis, but there's also the side of like people being, there's a whole account that I can't remember her name, who I love. And she talks about like how we fragilize ourselves. Like the idea that like, oh, I'm anxious. So because I have this diagnosis, I shouldn't do X, Y, or Z, which the treatment is actually you do X, Y, or Z for those things so that you can not have this experience anymore. So there's a lot of like there's swings with everything. Like mental health is so much now a thing where people are like, we have to embrace it, understand it, diagnose it. But with that comes like staying stuck in some of the stuff that you're coming into therapy for or that you're wanting treatment for. That's what I get a lot is like, you're not understanding me, you're not validating me because
Do people say that to you?
Yeah, I've literally never said that to a therapist.
all the time.
We don't have borderline personality. Sorry. But, no, I mean, my brain went there. She was like, would never fucking say that to my therapist. But
I mean, once you get to the like, we got to change this, or this person might have
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
Something.
I
I
definitely
remember-
have friends that have had that, I think.
I remember protecting my therapist saw things before I did. And I remember like the first couple times she tried to poke at certain relationships in my life. And I remember how I felt when it happened because I was like, oh my God, she's not buying what I'm selling. And it was like a danger zone. But then I actually paused on therapy for a while because I was like, she doesn't get me. And then when I went back, I actually apologized to her and I was like, I wasn't being honest. We weren't able to do the work. Like I wasn't fully showing up.
Well, and that is like the art of being a therapist is I have so many thoughts. Like I could choose to live my life very differently. Like if I took all of my own advice, but I could also, like even with my patients, like thinking about the things that they're struggling with, what's going on for them. If I am too far ahead of them, like I've lost them and
Yeah.
like then they just get more entrenched. So, and I mean, not to get so technical, there's this thing called self-verification theory, which is what validation principles are based on, that like we get more dysregulated, our emotions go up, our nervous system fires when it gets communicated to us that we are seen in a way that we don't believe or isn't consistent with how we see ourselves. And so we're not always seeing ourselves well or effectively, or other people are further ahead of us. And so when that's reflected back, we don't like, if it doesn't like resonate at the time, we get super upset and dysregulated. And so the internet does a really good job of like meeting you where you're at right now and kind of pinpointing that and highlighting it. So
I hate that I'm finding myself in some of this.
Right.
Like, say that one more time.
me too.
Say that, what the term was one more time so I can go home and Google it.
I'll send you my PowerPoint.
Great. Please. I think that did you ever watch the show Couples Therapy with Erna, what is her, something Gorlick, right? I loved watching her in session, but I really loved hearing when she would go back to her mentor and like give a download of what she was experiencing from both patients because she presented so unbiased, so clear, and watching her poke people that were clearly not seeing themselves the way they were was, I could like, and she in an interview said like, I think it's strange that people binge that show because they're binging on therapy, but everyone could find themselves in one of those couples.
I have a lot of thoughts about that show, to be honest. Like
Can you tell them?
yes. Well, so first of all, like having your therapy filmed, like you're automatically
A
adding
narcissist.
adding in a filter that it's just not going to be biased. I've also heard things that come up from the show that it's like it's not as long as it presents itself to be. Like I think the frame of somebody coming in doing therapy with people and then getting consultation, like I think that's a great thing to put out there and model, that like people aren't just like sitting on a couch with somebody who's feeding them whatever they think at the end. What she's doing in terms of what you're saying of like the unbiased, like understanding both perspectives and how people got there, that's what a good therapist does, is like they understand all of those different pieces and they put the puzzle together so that they can understand and then help with the change process. I didn't see a lot of like what I know to be true, like effective couples therapy interventions. I think she did a lot of what people like, which is like calling people out and try, but the like actual connecting and healing of relationships is just like, that's just not how it's done. So I think
I feel like in the last few decades, like therapy became a really like glamorous thing to do. It was like a badge of honor right now where you wear it versus I think it carried maybe not shame, but a lot of people felt like something was wrong with them going into therapy, where now people announce it as like, I'm wearing this badge that I chose to invest in myself.
And that I love, like people being able to say like, I'm struggling with this thing. I don't know what the hell to do with it. And I'm going to go get some help, get some support with it is incredible and amazing. And there's some people that are in therapy that don't need to be in therapy. Like they need to spend that money elsewhere. And
Where would they be spending it?
On bags.
on a bag.
Dopamine hit?
Maybe. Like I've actually told people like, you don't need me. You need to go to a really good trainer. Like spend that money, go work.
Oh,
like
yeah.
before you come and see me, like you have straight up depression. If we're not getting like your biology shifted, like you are going to be wasting your money
I love
on me.
that.
Oh, that's really interesting.
So if you need me to help you get to a trainer, let's work on that. Let's figure that out. But I think there's so much, like go get your hair colored, like feel better about
Feel
yourself.
good about yourself,
Yeah.
yeah.
There's so many things that like I do think that therapy can be this process of like ruminating out loud and you're just in quicksand. Like you're sinking into your problem versus finding a way out of it too. Like I've told people like you're done. Like you're cooked. Like come back to me for a maintenance session, but we don't
You're cooked.
You're cooked. It's cooked. You're done. So I think but the ability to say I need therapy. But I think there's a downside to what you're talking about too. Like there's a lot of polarization in art. Like, and so you look at like smaller towns, areas like that. Like I almost feel like the discrepancy between like getting help, needing help, accessing help, and the messages of like only problematic people get therapy or only rich people get therapy. I think that's even more magnified now. And so like it's just, if you look at how this works, like I get calls all the time of like, can you see now that telehealth is a thing, like that's huge to like actually be able to access some of the communities that we can't before. But I have a patient that is in the South and like, he's getting all of these messages of like, you're just a pussy. Like how could you like be going to therapy?
Oh,
like
wow.
he's also like actively suicidal and like really suffering and owns guns and the whole, it's like terrifying to like be in that space for him and people around him. And then people around him are saying like, just like fuck up, like get out of this, like knock it off. So I do think that there's some of that. Like
It's not evolved. Like
No.
it's not evolved. And then you have no one around you who's lifting you up. You're basically doing the work that was happening in The Sopranos.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to do some more work with us and answer some questions?
Sure. Let's do it.
Let's see. What do you
Give me to
got?
go.
Yeah.
Do I
Got
have
a good
any?
old boundary question. Yeah, those are from the last episode.
You can redo it.
This is good. There's a lot of boundary talk lately.
Okay. Yeah.
How do you?
I'll give you my spiel on boundaries.
Okay, yes, do it.
Now?
Yeah.
Okay. So I don't talk about boundaries. Boundaries are finite. They don't change and they're global.
Okay.
Most experiences that we have are movable and will change given the context. So I talk about limits because it just has like a less intense
I like that.
like boundary. If you think about it, like a state boundary, like
Hard line.
Yeah.
hard
it
line.
feels hard.
And so to talk about a boundary, I'm all for it, but like really know what you're talking about. Like I have different limits in my relationships with my patients than I do with my family. Like when people can call me, what that looks like. And I think to say this is it and this is definitive, really invalidates like different relationships and that I can actually have limits. Like it doesn't have to be, there's this reliance on like, this is my rule that I'm holding to. And I think it disempowers people versus saying like, right now, I don't want to do that. Like,
And can make them more stuck, I think.
Totally. So that's my spiel on
Okay, I love it.
But
Well, let's hear
Okay,
the
so I'm
answer.
going to change. How do you set limits with someone who doesn't have the tools? Like everything you try, it just turns into a fight.
love this question. Well, and so this is where it gets into setting versus maintaining.
Okay,
It's on you to maintain your limits.
right.
You can set it. What other people do with it, that's up to them. How you maintain it, maintain a contingency, maintain like if it's more of that like if then. So if I say, like, I would really like you to come home at a certain time because of X, Y, or Z, knowing that, like, maintaining that limit is maybe like, I'm okay being pissed. It's okay that I distance. Like, there's going to be a response to my limit not being respected. But the thing about it is the maintaining of a limit is more about, like, I'm putting the power in my own hands. Like, if I rely on everybody else to know what I want, know what I need, and live by it all the time, like, we're in big trouble because.
So it's just a personal
Yeah.
hypothetical.
Not to
I
hijack
have a hard time. I have a hard time with my kids setting limits.
Totally.
And so what's a good like strategy or something if you set a limit with your kids and they don't honor it in terms of, like, you don't want to just get pissed because that doesn't really work. At least with mine. There's absolutely zero fear of me.
I have an almost 2-year-old.
Okay,
and
okay.
We're in the same.
Okay,
boat.
so I have a 15 and a 13-year-old. So, like, we're in full on, like, not battles, but like pushing limits.
Yeah.
And I just don't do the things that my parents did. And no shade, but like, it's just different parenting culture. So there's zero fear.
Right.
Zero. Which is good, but also not so good when you're trying to have them honor something.
What are you trying to have them honor?
Like,
Limit.
phone, or, the way that we're talking to each other or fighting between them or whatever.
Whatever
like,
it
you
is.
can be angry. You can have all the feelings and you can be angry, but you can't say, shut the fuck up,
Well, and I think this is where it's harder work. It's more mindful work,
Yeah.
but it's actually being able to say, like, okay, if that were to happen, they say, shut the fuck up. They I'm
Yeah.
allowed to curse.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
okay. We could bleep
Say it a few
Yeah,
more
yeah.
times.
Yeah.
If they come home after curfew, if they're using their phone outside of a certain amount of time, it's knowing not as like a punishment, but what's the contingency? Like, so I've had parents that say, like I'm paying for this phone. I want you to have it. I want you to have access to it. I don't want to be involved in it, but there's certain limits to
Right.
the phone use and everything. And if you violate those limits, this is what happens. Like, it's not about like the yelling, the screaming, the battle
Yeah.
around it, but there are boundaries and limits and saying no to things or moving through that. So I think a lot more of it is, like, I work with a ton of parents. It's really understanding, like, if this happens, this is what you get. Like,
The
if
harder
this
part for
doesn't-
me is maintaining it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
hard part.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, we're not watching Frozen. Please, 2 more
Yeah.
minutes.
You just sang that so beautifully. It was like
2 more minutes.
2 more minutes.
The 2-year-old does have a sing-songy voice.
Yeah, of course. So sweet.
No, but it gets harder and harder, and it's like knowing what you care about, what you don't, and you can't win every battle. But the maintenance of the limits is what's really hard.
That is difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think releasing expectation around limits too? Like, I mean, I recently had a conversation with someone who I know doesn't have the tools, but I experienced kind of the backlash of kind of some reactive behavior. And instead of reacting back, I was like, I have to remember there's no winning with this. Like, this is just going to turn into a brawl over, like, the context not being worth this.
Right.
It's hard to release expectation, but also knowing what you're dealing with. This also applies to kids. Like, your kids, my 3-year-old, he doesn't have the tools when I
No.
say, no, we can't watch Anna and Elsa.
Right.
Right. So I have to release what I think is a possibility.
Right. Well, I think it's like releasing what's a possibility, understanding what is, and accepting what you get, like what comes at you. You don't have to, like, acceptance is like, this is happening, not I like it, not I'm approving of it. And I think, to your point, this is the biggest part. Like, if I'm setting a limit, it's acceptance that they're not maybe able to, they're not going to, and it's more about me. And when I start to build resentment when I don't maintain my limit.
Yeah.
And sometimes the resentment is not because I'm not maintaining it. I might not know how. Like, I might not know what the leverage is. I might not know what I'm going to do if that doesn't happen, and I keep fighting for like the fucking phone or whatever it might be. But yeah, I think with a 3-year-old, like, you have no power. You have no control.
Or a 15-year-old, I hate to tell you.
I like I don't lie to him, but I'm very good at distraction. That's like what I think my parenting technique is.
Distraction.
Look over here.
Well, so my upstairs neighbor is very loud. He loves the Grinch. He loves the animation of it all. So I'm like, we have to go to bed because the Grinch is upstairs. And if we close our eyes and pretend to sleep, he can't find us. Right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, do you guys do that to Otis all the time?
All the time. I'm like
Santa,
the Grinch. I'm
Grinch.
always lying to him. My mom told him that Minnie Mouse is her neighbor and she makes charcuterie boards because she's a
so
mouse.
much Disney gaslighting going
Right.
on.
We're doing all of it. Right. So then
Oh, piss off, who is Kristoff in my house? Piss off is how she says it. Piss off tells you, it says you have to go to bed all the time. Piss off is really into.
it's like your own, you got to get
I
a
wish that
giggle.
worked for me still.
But I picked him up at school and his teacher was like, he heard something upstairs and he was talking about the Grinch. And I was like, fuck, do I lie to his teacher? Like, or do I tell her that that's a disciplinary tool in my house?
That's a motivation tool.
Disciplinary tool in my house.
Hi, we have an imaginative
No, you
land.
gaslight the teacher, and you're like, "What are you talking about? The
Grinch
does live in our
upstairs?
house."
I gotta say, the thing that's similar with toddlers and teens is that the relationship is actually a contingency that they work for. Like, if you don't want me to be pissed off at you, piss off. If you don't want, like, I'm a much nicer person when this goes well.
Well, my family therapist told us that she told me that I was a little codependent with my kids in terms of like wanting them to like me. So I fear like setting that boundary.
Yeah, and that's what I was thinking when we were talking before, is like, you have to be okay with not being liked.
Yeah.
And that's really hard.
Yeah.
Like that, I don't like that.
I don't like that at all. I'm not okay with that.
No,
Just to be clear, that's not happening.
Can we option B?
I think but that's going back to like the emotional tolerance, because
Yeah.
that's not about what they actually, how they
And so
actually feel
building
about
that slow, like
Yeah.
exposing myself to that, and
Yeah.
being like, oh, actually, I'm still alive.
you. And being able to name the emotion that comes up versus like not being liked. Your kids love you.
Yeah.
They like you. Like
Yeah.
in that moment, they're pissed at you and
Yeah.
you don't like it. It feels uncomfortable.
Yeah.
You feel shame. Like you're worried you're a bad parent. Like whatever comes with that is
Yeah.
more of what, and that's where I think therapy is really useful to like get into what that actually looks like for you, to your question about like, where do you feel it in your body?
Yeah.
What's actually coming up? We stay in our head, in our brain about
Yeah.
things. Like that's where the story comes in. And
Yeah.
we're like, oh, I don't like to not be liked. Like that's not what's happening.
Yeah.
This question's like a great tie-in.
Okay.
My best friend is in such a good place and I'm really struggling. I am happy for her, but it's hard when our timelines are not matching. How do you navigate that?
Envy sucks. Like this is, I mean, this is, I think, a really hard. Do you know how old this person is? I feel like this is like something that
I feel
most
like-
people deal
To
with.
be
most
honest
people,
with you,
yeah.
I think this is like I feel like after college age into your like the rest of your life is
Yeah.
when you realize that everyone is going to have something different going on that they're celebrating or grieving
Right.
to some degree.
I feel like that was really true. That whole experience was really true for me and most of my friends in like late 20s, early 30s, because people are getting married at different rates, having kids at different rates. And there's all of this comparison. I struggled with it in some areas, but not as much as, and I think because it was this focus of zeroing in on what I did have and like what my values were. I was in grad school at the time. I was like, grad school, if you ever want like not free therapy, very expensive therapy, go to grad school to become a psychologist, because you're just doing your own work constantly.
Right.
But a lot of it is that if you're comparing yourself to other people, you're living according to somebody else's values and not your own, then you get stuck in this process of comparison, envy, jealousy, and like it's so toxic, and like you're never going to have, even if like all the ducks are in the row, like you have everything that you thought you want, if you're always comparing, you're never going to have everything that everybody else has. So like I think that's the biggest thing.
I think in both sides, I totally understand when you're struggling. Like I've worked around like all women of all ages for so many years since I was a teenager. I'll never forget one of the girls was trying to get pregnant and everyone else was at the age where they were getting pregnant. And 2 girls announced they were pregnant and she flipped out and ran out of the break room and she was like, everyone's fucking pregnant but me. And I think for her, like, of course she didn't want to like rain on it.
Totally.
And I could tell the other girls were honestly trying to censor themselves. But it's hard. Like you should be able to celebrate it.
Right. But I think this is the thing where like what gets suppressed gets expressed, right? Like, so if I'm
What
suppressed,
gets suppressed
gets expressed. My spinning teacher, who's a really good friend of mine, used to always say that. And I love it because like when we push it down, So I'm pushing down, I want these things and everybody else has it. Like you have to find the people that you can talk to about that stuff. Otherwise you're running out of rooms, right? Like, because like, I mean, Demi, I went through 2 years of fertility stuff. Everybody was getting pregnant. Everybody, like my Instagram would open and everybody was getting pregnant. And there was a lot of pain in the whole experience, but the pain wasn't these people have it and I don't.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that is when you're able to look at this is what I do have, this is the control that I do have, and like balance that out, it makes such a difference than like I'm just like running on these things.
That's
And
a
being
really
able
good point.
to
Like if you think of it that way, it's not that they have it and you don't.
Right.
It's that it's,
you feel out of control.
yeah. Right.
And you're
right.
not going to
The
have
lack of
it.
control.
Yeah.
Right. Like them having it isn't preventing you from having it. It's just that
No.
you don't have it and you want it.
Right.
I made a request with my last company because I came in when we had first opened with a clientele. So I was like, I already had the privilege of that, right? And I had so many people that were building behind me. And they had these things called a monthly meet where we would go over like all of the numbers and they would show everyone's monthly numbers if you exceeded or didn't, right? And the discrepancy from my production to even the next person, we're talking the margin was like 50%. Like it was, they couldn't catch up if they wanted to. And they weren't seeing all the years of hard work that went into it. They were only seeing my success. And I felt like it was building huge resentment. And so I called one day after one of the meetings and I was like, I know you guys support me and I know you celebrate me, but you have to stop like talking about my numbers in the meeting.
Right.
Because
Well,
it's not motivating. Yeah,
right?
it's just like, it's not.
Soundbite.
It's not.
No.
And I was like, I wouldn't feel motivated to show up on my free time to hear about, we have to focus on other wins that are not numbers.
Well, and that's like when I would work with supervisees who like were new in training, and I have been running groups for 4 groups for like 6 years. Like I've got a lot of practice under my belt, and they're like comparing themselves to me. It's like their behavior is just getting shut down at that point. Like, and that's what we do. And when we compare our insides to other people's outsides, like it's not a fair comparison. Like there's just no point in
Well,
doing
you just
that.
never know what someone's actual experience is.
Yeah. And that's what social media does too. We see these like sound bites and nobody considers like how much work you've put into building your career, how much work you guys put into making this podcast. Like any of it really is, like, it's just not a fair comparison because it's such a small piece.
I think it's rare. Like, I think there are many women that are confident, but I think women that have really worked on it and you don't see the journey, not women, men also, but I think, and I think both of you can relate to this. Do you ever find yourself making yourself smaller in a room for other people's comfort because you don't want to overwhelm it?
All the time.
You don't want to be too loud. You don't want to be too smart. You don't want to talk about too much success because you're like, that isn't relatable. People don't like that. But then how do you find yourself in a room full of people where your timelines don't need to match, but you can still celebrate it?
Right. Well, I think my boss actually gave me this feedback. We were in a training and I was like pumping up my co-trainer and she was like, stop doing that. Like you are making yourself small and you're making him big. And like, first of all, I don't like that from a male-female dynamic, but I
don't like that
I
at
don't
all.
like that. And so I think some of it's like, who are you surrounding yourself with? And then also like, it's a lot of that like self-validation, self-talk, being able to say like, I've earned this, like owning that. We are not reinforced for saying like, I've done big things. Like that's not something, especially women, and I think that's the difference between men and women. Men are really celebrated for saying like,
Right.
I kicked ass at like breathing
like,
today. And
I kicked ass at breathing.
and we are not. Like it's like we have to talk about the struggle. And so that's what we default to is like how this was hard and what this was. And most people are okay with like looking at your wins and then envying you for them versus like looking at the struggle.
Your whole
that you-
journey.
Yeah.
For sure.
I love
I
it.
don't know if I answered your
good.
question.
You did. No,
so
you
good.
did
You
great.
have to come back.
This
Yeah.
was so.
I feel so calm. I was manic
do.
before, and now I feel
We
calm.
were having Giggle Fest. We were all over the
Giggle
fucking.
fest.
Yeah.
You can just come back. We have another
Yeah,
Giggle
you have
Fest.
to come
We'll
back.
do like a whole episode of just questions, but we'll leave like some good raunchy ones for you.
Great.
Awesome. Thanks for coming.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Thank you guys.